She invited her poor ex-husband to disgrace him, but he arrived in a Rolls-Royce with 50 bodyguards. She thought he'd crawl in, broken, ashamed. Instead, engine roars, tires screech. He stepped out, calm, powerful, in a Rolls-Royce, flanked by 50 bodyguards. The crowd, silent, her face, pure shock. She regretted this invite. Watch the full story now. The rain fell hard against the small apartment window in Queens, each droplet echoing like the rhythm of a broken heart. Inside, the apartment smelled faintly of wet coats and forgotten meals. Daniel Reyes sat quietly on the worn couch, his hands clasped tightly, staring at the flickering light of his broken laptop. He could hear her heels clicking sharply against the wooden floor as she moved through the apartment, her designer luggage rolling behind her. Evelyn Carter, radiant and poised as ever, stopped in the doorway. Her eyes were cold, precise, a calculated mix of disappointment and ambition. She looked at him like she was observing a project that had failed to meet expectations. "You're going nowhere, Daniel," she said, her voice soft but cutting, like a blade hidden in silk. "I refuse to drown with you." She paused, letting her words hang in the damp air, then stepped out into the rain without a backward glance. The door clicked shut, and the sound felt heavier than any storm outside. Daniel's heart sank, but he did not move. He did not plead. He did not beg. All he could manage was a soft, almost inaudible whisper. "I hope you find what you're looking for." He looked around the apartment, the empty boxes of medical bills, the overdue notices, the single chair where his mother used to sit during her long chemotherapy sessions. His bank account blinked $87, a cruel reminder of his sudden, unplanned fall from stability. His laptop, battered and half dead, sat like a loyal companion amidst the chaos. He opened it, watching the screen flicker and the cursor blink. Lines of code began to scroll, fragments of ideas and unfinished programs, a quiet storm brewing in the shadows of despair. Flashbacks cut through the present like shards of sunlight on a stormy day. Their wedding, simple, intimate, a few friends, a small church, a day filled with laughter and hope. He remembered the warmth of her hand, the excitement in her eyes, then the hospital, his mother lying frail and pale, the endless bills stacking higher than his courage. And finally, her cold stare, the moment she decided she could not endure the weight of his struggles. Despite it all, Daniel felt no anger, not really, only a heavy, hollow sadness. Yet beneath that sadness, a quiet determination began to stir. He realized that losing everything had stripped him bare, but it had also cleared the way for something new, something powerful. The screen of his laptop flickered again, and in the glow, a small spark of ambition reignited. Outside, the rain fell harder, as if mourning the end of what had been. Inside, Daniel sat alone, surrounded by ruin, yet poised on the edge of a rebirth. His voice, soft and firm, broke the silence. "Let's see what I can build." The camera lingers on him, the lonely figure bathed in the dim light of code and possibility. The storm rages outside, but inside, a quiet revolution begins. 3 years passed, and the world outside moved on without him, or so it seemed. Evelyn Carter had carved out a life of perfection, the kind of life that looks flawless through filtered lenses and glossy magazines. She married a hedge fund manager, her laughter echoing through grand ballrooms, champagne flowing endlessly, selfies capturing the sparkle of her curated happiness. Gala after gala, post after post, she was the queen of a world built on appearances, unaware of the quiet storm brewing elsewhere. Meanwhile, Daniel Reyes's world had shrunk to the dim glow of a garage light. Nights blurred into mornings, with his body curled beneath a desk for sleep, and his mind racing through lines of code. He had no social life, no parties, no celebrations. He had only a dream, a platform called Nexus, an AI-powered logistics system he believed could change the way goods moved across the globe. 47 investors had rejected him. 47 times he had stared into the empty eyes of ambition and failure. 47 times he had stood firm, refusing to compromise his vision. Exhaustion weighed him down one rainy night, his fingers trembling as he uploaded a demo to GitHub. He named it simply, "For Mom and for Me." It was a quiet declaration of purpose, a whisper of hope in the endless noise of rejection. He didn't know it then, but somewhere across the country, a legend of Silicon Valley, Arthur Vance, stumbled upon his project. Vance saw not just code, but heart, resilience, and a mind that refused to break. Within days, Vance flew to New York, extending an offer that would change everything: $20 million in seed funding. Daniel's first words were not of gratitude or awe. They were firm, measured, deliberate. "I don't want money, I want control, and 51% equity." The fire in his eyes was unmistakable. A man who had seen the bottom and refused to stay there. He had lost everything, yet in that loss, he had found the one thing that mattered most: himself. Nexus took the world by storm. Fortune 500 companies adopted it, governments integrated it, and within years, Daniel Reyes became a self-made billionaire at just 32. Yet, despite the wealth and accolades, he lived simply. He avoided the spotlight, shunned interviews, and left social media untouched. His life was not built for show, it was built for impact. The only luxury in his penthouse was a single framed photo, his mother, smiling, radiant, cancer-free, a testament to the first million that had changed both their lives. The camera pans across Daniel's quiet office, the soft hum of servers filling the room. He works late, not for fame or fortune, but for the promise he made to himself, to his mother, and to the idea that failure is not the end. It is the beginning of something greater. While the world celebrated the superficial, he quietly reshaped the future, one line of code at a time. Outside, the city never sleeps, but inside, Daniel thrives, calm, focused, and unstoppable. He is no longer the man left with 87 bottlers and broken dreams. He is a force, disciplined and unwavering, a living proof that true success is born not from wealth alone, but from wisdom, purpose, and an unyielding heart. The Grand Astor Hotel glittered under the New York skyline, a palace of crystal chandeliers, polished marble floors, and champagne bubbles that caught the light like liquid gold. It was Evelyn Carter's 5th annual Elite Gala, a night she had spent months meticulously planning, with invitations handwritten in gold script, floral arrangements that seemed sculpted by angels, and music that whispered luxury. The theme, New Beginnings, dripped with irony, for she was now divorcing husband number 2, dismissing him as boring, while she reveled in the applause of the city's social elite. Evelyn, sparkling in a silver gown that hugged her figure like a second skin, clutched her champagne flute and surveyed the room with the satisfaction of a queen among courtiers. Laughter spilled from her lips, bright, sharp, intoxicating. Her friends whispered and giggled nearby, admiring her poise, her power, her perfect world. Then she paused, a mischievous glint in her eye, and lifted her phone. Fingers nimble from years of indulgence, she sent a gilded invitation to one man, Daniel Reyes. "Darling, it's been ages. Come celebrate my new chapter. Everyone's curious. What became of you?" The words were playful, teasing, yet edged with challenge. One of her friends, eyes wide, leaned in and whispered urgently, "What if he shows up?" Evelyn laughed, a sound like crystal shattering. "In what? His janitor uniform?" Her smile was dazzling, but it masked a subtle unease. She had assumed he was forgotten, a ghost of her past, a man defeated by life, too insignificant to ever touch her carefully curated world again. Meanwhile, across town, Daniel's office was quiet, the soft hum of servers filling the space. He held the invitation in his hand, the elegant paper almost laughing back at him. His assistant, cautious and concerned, leaned in. "Sir, this is clearly a setup. Ignore it. Don't even respond." Daniel studied the words, the tone, the delicate trap woven so skillfully. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then a faint, almost imperceptible smile curved his lips. Not a smile of arrogance, not of triumph, but of quiet calculation, the kind that comes from knowing exactly who you have become. "No," he murmured, voice steady, eyes glinting. "I'll go." But not as the man she left, as the man she never saw coming. He set the invitation down, straightened his suit, and adjusted the cufflinks that gleamed faintly under the dim light. Every movement was deliberate, controlled, a signal of confidence that had been forged in years of struggle, discipline, and relentless focus. This was no impulsive act of revenge. This was the arrival of a man who had risen from ashes, tempered by adversity, and ready to command attention without a single word of explanation. Outside, the city buzzed with oblivious energy. Inside the Grand Astor, champagne flutes clinked, laughter echoed, and the orchestra swelled. Evelyn, unaware of the storm she had invited, continued to dazzle her guests. Yet somewhere in the back of her mind, a fleeting question surfaced, a whisper of doubt. Daniel Reyes would arrive that night, not as the boy she had abandoned, but as a force she could neither ignore nor control. And when he stepped through those gilded doors, the world she thought she had mastered would tremble, ever so slightly, under the weight of the man she had once let go. The Grand Astor Gala was in full swing. Crystal chandeliers sparkled like frozen stars above, casting light on elegantly dressed guests, gleaming floors, and tables overflowing with champagne and caviar. The orchestra played a soft, romantic melody, weaving through laughter, clinking glasses, and murmurs of small talk. In the center of it all stood Evelyn Carter, radiant and commanding, her silver gown shimmering under the lights. She moved through the crowd effortlessly, laughing, posing, and charming the elite, the undisputed queen of the night. Outside, the quiet hum of the city was suddenly pierced by the low growl of engines. At first, it was one car, then another, and another. 10 black SUVs rolled to a synchronized stop, forming an imposing procession. At the center, a Rolls-Royce Phantom glided forward, its polished surface reflecting the glittering skyline. On the license plate in bold gold letters, Nexus 1. 50 men, ex-special forces meticulously trained and hand-picked for this single night, stepped from the vehicles. They formed a human corridor, silent, imposing, a barrier and a herald at once. The valet and doorman froze, uncertainty flashing in their eyes. The lead doorman swallowed hard and stammered, "Name?" Daniel Reyes emerged from the Phantom, every step measured, every gesture deliberate. Bespoke Tom Ford tuxedo hugging his frame, no tie, calm, piercing eyes that swept the scene without haste. He exuded power without effort, confidence without arrogance. "Daniel Reyes, tell Evelyn, her ex-husband has arrived." His voice was calm, deep, and assured, the weight of years of struggle and triumph resonating in each word. Inside, the room felt the shift before anyone fully understood it. The music faltered, conversations froze mid-sentence. 300 guests turned as one toward the source of the disruption. Camera flashes erupted. Phones lifted instinctively, capturing the arrival of a man transformed. Evelyn froze in place. Champagne flute paused halfway to her lips. Her eyes widened, disbelief and shock crossing her perfect mask of poise. The laughter in the room dimmed to whispers. The orchestra stumbled, then went silent. Daniel walked slowly down the human corridor of bodyguards, each step commanding, deliberate, regal. It was a march of quiet dominance, a demonstration that he had returned not as the man she once knew, but as a force she could neither anticipate nor control. Guests instinctively stepped aside, parting for him as if they recognized authority in its purest form. When he reached 10 feet from Evelyn, the world seemed to hold its breath. Daniel's gaze met hers, calm and unwavering. His lips curved into a faint, almost imperceptible smile. "You asked what became of me, Evelyn. Shall I show you?" For a heartbeat, silence reigned. Then, in the subtle electric pause before chaos could resume, the audience, both in the room and beyond, felt the thrill of power, revenge, and triumph mingled into one cinematic moment. Daniel stood there, a testament to resilience, success, and quiet confidence. The fantasy had come alive, and no one, not even Evelyn, could look away. The Grand Astor Ballroom was alive with glittering lights, laughter, and the soft hum of conversation. Yet, for the first time that night, the air felt tense, electric, almost brittle. The music faltered, and a ripple of curiosity passed through the 300 guests. From the stage, Daniel Reyes emerged, calm, collected, and commanding attention without raising his voice. No insult, no anger, just quiet, unshakable authority. He took the microphone, and the room leaned in. "Thank you all for coming. Evelyn wanted to show you my failure, so let me show you my success." His voice was steady, rich, and measured, each word carrying the weight of years of struggle, perseverance, and triumph. Then the screens behind him erupted to life. Giant luminous projections displayed the fruits of his labor. Nexus stock ticker, $180 per share. Forbes magazine cover, bold and gleaming, the quiet billionaire. Headlines scrolled across, Reyes acquires Grand Astor Hotel, effective tonight. Gasps swept through the crowd like a sudden storm. Guests murmured, cameras flashed, and whispers turned to incredulous awe. Evelyn's face drained of color. Her hand trembled, champagne spilling slightly as she struggled to comprehend the man standing before her, the man she had dismissed and abandoned. Daniel's gaze, calm yet piercing, met hers across the room. He did not mock. He did not shout. Instead, he smiled faintly, the kind of smile that comes from victory tempered with dignity. "This building," he said, gesturing around the grand ballroom. "It's mine now. Your gala, still happening, on my dime. Your guests, my honored clients." The words landed like gentle, deliberate blows, precise and unyielding. He nodded once, and his bodyguards began distributing black envelopes to every guest. Each envelope contained a golden keycard, granting lifetime VIP access to any Nexus property, and a note, elegantly inscribed, "Success is the best revenge, but grace, that's power." Guests opened the envelopes, eyes widening in astonishment and admiration. The room shifted from shock to awe, and quietly, respect replaced the earlier whispers of gossip. Evelyn stumbled forward, her voice faltering. Why are you doing this?" Her eyes searched his for anger, for revenge, for spite. Daniel looked her in the eye. No anger, no gloating, just clarity. "Because you taught me something valuable, Evelyn. Never underestimate a man with nothing left to lose, and everything to prove." With that, he turned. He walked out, each step measured, each movement a testament to control. The bodyguards closed ranks behind him, silent, imposing, not one glance back. The final shot lingered on Evelyn, standing alone in the crowd. Guests avoided her gaze, conversations moving around her, a waiter quietly removing her name card from the head table. As the camera pulled back, elegant text appeared on screen. She invited him to disgrace him. He came to remind the world, the quiet ones, they're the ones building empires. Karma doesn't scream. It arrives in a Rolls-Royce with 50 bodyguards. The night was no longer about Evelyn. It was about Daniel Reyes, a man who had fallen, risen, and reminded the world that power, grace, and patience are the ultimate triumphs.